KEYC News Now to Go is sponsored by River's Edge Hospital and Clinic. People caring for people.
Moments like these make life worth living. River's Edge Hospital and Clinic is your partner in taking control of your own health. Take your steps towards a lasting tomorrow. River's Edge Hospital.
Hello, good morning, and happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us for this KEYC News Now to Go update. I'm Jackson Jurek. In a few minutes, I'll be joined by First Alert meteorologist Caitlin Lohr with a look at today's forecast and the gorgeous week ahead. We'll start with local news. Mankato police have arrested a 16-year-old in connection with a stabbing investigation from over the weekend. According to police, officers responded to the area of 2nd Street and Adams Street on reports of a stabbing just after 7:30 Sunday night. Police say an 18-year-old man who had been stabbed arrived at the hospital on his own. He was treated for serious injuries, but is reported to be in stable condition. Authorities then arrested a 16-year-old male in connection to the incident and are not seeking any additional suspects at this time. The incident remains under investigation, and anyone with information or potential surveillance video is encouraged to call 911. A little bit further away from home, 2 weeks remain for the Minnesota legislature to finalize a budget. As it stands, Republicans and DFLers remain deeply entrenched in negotiations, looking to strike a budget deal and leave enough time to finish their business. Quinn Gorham has the latest.
Leadership was cryptic as they entered a negotiation session on Monday afternoon.
We're still talking through everything, so hopefully when we come out, we'll have a little bit more information.
This week's biggest topic of conversation, global targets. It's a fancy way of saying they're trying to agree on a budget compromise that both the House and Senate can get behind. They were supposed to be done last Friday, but the two sides remain without a compromise.
How close are we to global targets?
Not close enough to announce them.
Leaders met through the weekend in rooms just like this one here behind me, but they're still working to agree on a budget framework. Between the House, Senate, and Governor, there are a lot of ideas on just how to get that done.
We have very, very different targets between the Governor, the Senate, and the House. So that we're talking about numbers first.
A few key issues may stand in the way of closing the gap. Republicans and Democrats continue to clash over whether the state should continue funding summer unemployment insurance for hourly school workers and on whether to allow undocumented immigrants to access public health care. Those differences may be stalling the passage of those bills, but not the negotiations process.
We came with very different approaches, and the work to reconcile those approaches is real and difficult. But there's a lot of goodwill in the room and, a steadfastness to the understanding that we have to get done.
In St. Paul, Quinn Gorham, KEYC News Now.
Back here at home, Greater Mankato Growth is accepting applications for over $700,000 in state grant funding. The Main Street Economic Revitalization Program is a grant program through the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. Businesses around the downtown Mankato area, Highway 169 and Highway 14, can apply for funding to cover up to 30% of the cost for construction projects. The program has already gone through one round of funding, helping projects like Silos Apartments and Crumble Cookie get built.
The local residents have a better understanding of the needs of the community than what they do in St. Paul. So they couldn't possibly make grants of this scale at a level of depth as compared to what we can do locally.
The application deadline is June 1st, and projects receiving the funds must be completed by June 30th of next year. A group of Mankato radio stations has a new owner. Pending federal approval, Connoisseur Media has agreed to purchase Alpha Media, owner of Mankato radio stations Country 103.5, Z99, River 105, and Rock 95. Connoisseur currently operates 11 stations in Connecticut and Long Island. The combined company will own 218 stations in 47 markets. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, with the deal expected to close in the second half of the year. The headlining musical acts for the upcoming 27th annual Ribfest in Mankato were announced this morning. The following acts are the headliners: Thursday, July 31st, Chris Jansen; Friday, August 1st, Night Rangers, Saturday, August 2nd. Neon Trees, Sunday, August 3rd. Chris Hockey Band. Ribfest will be held July 31st to August 3rd at the Vetterstone Amphitheater in Riverfront Park. Reserved seating and party pit tickets go on sale Tuesday starting at 10 a.m. For more information, visit KEYC.com or ribfestmankato.com as well. Caitlin, exciting news there. As Ribfest announcement gets underway, that just means summer is one step closer to walking in the front door, and another step closer is planting season. And I know we talked a little bit during the packages there, but what better weekend to do planting than Mother's Day weekend, because it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, you know, you say now, summer's going to be walking in the front door, and I feel like we could say that now.
We could.
Jackson, I've been giving you so much trouble about the whole sunscreen thing.
Yeah.
And if you notice, my arms are a little
They're
red
burnt.
today.
They're
but
burnt.
I
They're
will
burnt,
say,
everybody.
I will say I did put sunscreen on. I just forgot to reapply because I fell asleep while Harvey was napping.
That happens.
So, but I did put sunscreen on. But this is just proof that you definitely need to reapply that sunscreen, even though it's not the middle of summer out there. So take this as your walking proof. This is karma for giving Jackson so much crap about not putting sunscreen on. So here I am, kind of red like a tomato, but it'll fade. I know that. And got to get the base tan, right?
Got to get the base tan, everybody.
So let's talk about those flowers. First and foremost, we're still sitting under that Omega block, and I won't talk about this every day for the next week. I just want to make sure you guys are still understanding and aware that this is going to be the pattern through the rest of this week and a majority of next week before we start to see a shift in the weather out there, which means above average temperatures from now until next week with 80s on the way. The good news is, even though it feels like summer out there, we aren't feeling the humidity that we feel in the summertime, and that's why we're really pushing to take advantage of this wonderful weather, whether it's going outside and taking your family for a walk, or you just going for a walk, or if you have pets that need to go for a walk, go for that walk, go outside, just get some fresh air. Just make sure you put that sunscreen on and reapply it so you don't look like me or look like what Jackson has looked like in the past. You know, we don't want to be red tomatoes. We want to be happy and not burning. Now, one minor change has come our way in the sense of a slight minor rain chance that will be Friday night. As of right now, it's looking to be beyond or past 8 p.m. Friday night. It's going to be isolated, not the whole area, and we're still going to see sunshine Friday afternoon and returning on Saturday, so it's not even going to bring a whole lot of cloud coverage. Let's talk about that planting. We've got these wonderful conditions out there. The rain has been helping kind of saturate the ground. Our last average freeze is anywhere between the end of April and the start of May, which is where we are right now. That being said, we don't really have to worry about overnight freeze conditions going forward. Even up towards International Falls is kind of on the okay side going forwards, even though that this is showing not a little bit closer to mid to late May, but with these nicer temperatures in general, this can kind of be bumped up a little bit for some days, for especially the more north you head. So those of us here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, if you have been waiting for this to kind of come and go so that you know it's safe to plant, it's safe to plant. You can get those plants in the ground. As Jackson mentioned, it's going to be a great weekend to do so with Mother's Day weekend on the heels of us. 79 for the high today, really feeling like summer out there. But again, make sure you apply that sunscreen because we are still looking at a high UV index of 7. The max peak time or the amount of exposure would be anytime between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. for when that sun is going to be at the hottest point of the day. When that occurs, 20 to 30 minutes is all it takes to get a sunburn. So again, make sure you're putting that sunscreen on and reapplying it, as well as staying hydrated, finding shade, and wearing a hat and or sunglasses, especially if you're going to be kind of gardening, bent over, things like that. You don't want a burnt head. That doesn't feel good. Tonight will be comfortable with a low of 53 degrees by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, more 70s on the way with sunshine. We are looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, showcasing that we are looking at well above average temperatures, which you kind of got a peek of earlier in the forecast. That means we are going from the 70s to the 80s next week. It's going to be great for Mother's Day weekend, whether you're a pet mom or a human mom, or you just want to get outside, go fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Fishing opener this weekend as well, Caitlin. So there's plenty of reasons to get outside. Why not do it?
Yeah, and get out there. Harvey's been loving it.
And wear sunscreen, you know, if you're Caitlin. But yeah.
Sunscreen, best friend.
Sunscreen. Dan and I always joked last summer, Mama Jackson's sunscreen. That's what we called it.
Well, I'm going to have to start calling it that because I am now with you guys on this.
There you go. All right, thank you very much, Caitlin. We're going to go into some sports. The St. James area softball team squared off against Big South Conference rival Jackson County Central, I can say my own name, in a matchup of two 10 win squads. My goodness. This contest living up to the hype. Saints trailing 1-0, but Lainey Bowers delivers, drives this ball back up the middle. 2 runs will come around to score as the Saints take a 2-1 advantage over the Huskies as Bowers checks into third. Adley Wackel stops the bleeding there, picks up a huge strikeout to get out of the inning. Saints strand the 1 runner. But 1-run lead is all the Saints need because Bowers is lights out in the circle once again. The right-hander strikes out 15 in this matchup, and with a runner in scoring position in the top half of the 7th, Bowers records a couple of strikeouts to end it as St. James area wins 2-1. Just 1 walk for Bowers, and the junior records another no-hitter in the process. We'll have more about Bowers and some of those big numbers she's putting up this season later this week on KEYC News Now. Over at Mankato West, Scarlets are hosting the New Ulm Eagles yesterday. Top of the 2nd, Scarlets' Evelyn Erickson records a backwards K. Senior off to a good start in the circle. Later, Berkeley Wilfart eyes this ball into left. Sun is out and definitely plays a role in this one, finding some grass, runners aboard for the Eagles. Wilfart wasting no time, taking second. Eagles doing the little things right. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. West defense tightens up. Eagles go on contact. Lydia Bancy does a great job catching this ball and then gunning down the runner at 3rd. Erickson works around some of the trouble, includes another ground ball to get out of the inning. West goes on to win this one 7-3. Scarlets now on a 7-game winning streak with the team's latest victory. Minnesota State softball team is a part of this year's NCAA Division II tournament field and returns to the national stage for the first time since 2022. Mavericks with the 8th seed in the Central Region, and the team will square off against top-seeded Central Oklahoma in the opening round of action for this competition. It'll be a double elimination tournament. MSU finished 2nd in the NSIC regular season standings this year to August Sanda, the other team from the NSIC to make this year's tournament field. MSU putting up some big numbers this season, leading the team with 38 wins. The Mavericks team earned run average sits at 2.29 on the season, and the team is hitting at a 289 clip coming into regions.
We've learned a lot about each other, and we have all aspects of the game, and when we're all on, when we're all hitting, when our pitching's doing really well, when our base running's doing really well, we're really hard to beat, and right now I think we're doing really good in all those.
As for MSU's first round opponent, the Mavericks already faced Central Oklahoma once this season in what was a 3-2 win at the Washburn Invite. All the action from this year's Central Region is set to start this Thursday. We'll have more in the coming days right here on KEYC News Now. Baltimore travels to Minnesota this week for a 3-game series, and you can catch the first Game 1 action on your local TV home for baseball. Fox Mankato is your home to watch the Twins take on the Orioles at 6:40 tonight. Minnesota has a 9-6 record in home games and a 15-20 record overall. Don't miss Tuesday Night Baseball on your local home for the Minnesota Twins, Fox Mankato, and you might just see me at the game. I'll be in attendance tonight, so I'm looking forward to going to that. I will not be putting on sunscreen, Caitlin, just so you know.
Well, Jackson, I have one question for you. Who's on first?
Who's on first? Like to...
You are telling me you don't know this.
Like, who's on first?
What's on second? I don't know, is on third.
Oh, I know
oh
this
my
track.
gosh.
We're done. We're done.
Wow.
That's going to do it. Thanks for watching this KEYC News Now to Go update. Stay with KEYC News Now for the latest local news, weather, and sports on our website.
I'm disappointed. Download the free KEYC News and weather apps for the latest headlines and forecast.